Hola, I'm going to Bolivia all alone with almost no money, no film crew, no makeup or friends except for the one that I met. Just myself experiencing the breathtaking salt flats, the spectacular sun islands, surviving the world's most dangerous road, trying to climb the Andes, and taking my first step on the moon. Not to mention going off the beaten path at the underground working mine, getting around, eating cheap, and finding great bargains. All done safely, inexpensively, and easily. Anything I can do, you can do. DIY Destinations Bolivia, and you are invited.
We are so fortunate to live in a small world with so many cultures, so much beauty, and so much diversity. The world waits for no one, and it's up to each of us to discover its magnificent destinations. I want to make travel accessible to all of us by showing how it can be done safely and inexpensively.
Nested in our heart of South America, Bolivia is a landlocked country famous for its salt flat and its spectacular natural landscapes. Today is home to a population of 12 million with a diverse ethnic mix of Spanish descendant and indigenous groups. Its unique culture consists of remnants of European, Amerindians, and Mestizos influence. That's why I'm here, to discover everything: its people, their language, its food, its progress as a nation, and most importantly, its soul and spirit of this land.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bolivia. Our assignment just began.
We begin our journey from El Alto, the location of La Paz International Airport. Most folks do not require a visitor's visa in advance, but thanks to President Donald Trump's inability to make friends, if you're coming from the good old USA, get ready to fork out $160 for the tourist visa. Ouch.
Okay, so you want to travel smart. Rule number 1, you do not exchange at the airport. Rather, you head to the bank machine. In fact, you run to the bank machine, and here in the Paz Airport, it's right here.
Most ATM offers withdrawals in both US dollars and Bolivianos. The fees are typically $4, but if you look hard enough, you'll discover some of them are free, like this one. There's a public minibus from the airport to the city center during the day for about $1, but there's not much of an option at 4 a.m.
We're going to my hostel, and everything can be bargained, even taxis.
Always bargain. During the day, the cost is around 50 Bolivianos or $7. At night and early mornings, expect to pay 10.
They are not answering.
Damn, I don't want to be like sleeping on the street. It's 4 in the morning. That will be a very interesting experience, sleeping on the street of a developing country, if I don't have $10,000 worth of filming equipment. For now, I settle into my first hostel, the Adventure Brew hostel, that offers both budget dorms and private rooms, lively social atmosphere with hot babes, and best of all, free breakfast and beer. Not kidding. Another great benefit is the hostel is right next to the La Paz bus terminal. So after a quick nap, it's time to get the overnight bus ticket for the salt flat.
Pretty surprising, they even have buses that goes to Buenos Aires, Sao Paulo. It's 100 Bolivios, and I'm leaving at 8:30, and then I arrive at uni at 6:30 or so.
Since I got lots of time to kill, I'm not going to waste a single minute. The famous Witches Market is our first stop and only 15 minutes walk away.
So this is the first place I want to go to when they come to La Paz, because you can pick up some coca leaf or any kind of high altitude sickness such as dizziness, stomach ache, things like that. The nickname is actually cocaine tea because Colombian mafia refined them into a cocaine. You can either chew it, or you can put it into hot water and make it into a tea. Yeah, there's different kind of products, also coca candies as well. So it really helps. And with that being said, let's check out the rest of the market and see what else they have to offer.
Located on Carl Jimenez in Santa Cruz, countless vendors line the streets to sell a number of strange and fascinating raw ingredients used in rituals to call on the spirit. It's surrounded with doctors, witch doctors, in dark hats and dresses wander through the market offering fortune-telling service and spiritual guidance. Among the many items sold at the market are dry llama fetuses that are said to bring both prosperity and good luck. They are used throughout the country, buried in foundation of new buildings as offering to the goddess Pachamama, or Mother Earth. Just a few minutes away are home to one of La Paz's most important and historical landmarks, the San Francisco Basilica. Right in front of its main square, there's always live talent show all day long. Free, huh? And lots of street stalls offering inexpensive food, drinks, and ice creams. All cost less than $1, but no popcorn. Sorry.
This is what I'm going to try. I don't know what it is, but I think it's going to taste just fine.
It's actually a traditional cold Bolivian drink called Mocochinchi, made from fruits left overnight and boiled with sugar and cinnamon. For only 25 cents, you don't even need to bargain. The building next to the square is Mercado Lanza. It might not have the beauty or class, but it does have capacity for over 1,000 traders spread neatly over 4 stories. On the lower floor, you find books, clothing, jewelry, and flowers. Lots and lots and lots of flowers. The upper floor is dedicated to more cheap food. On the ground, there's even a Bolivian-style Chinese food. The whole meal with unlimited drinks costs only $2. La Paz is the highest capital in the world, and we finish today by visiting Plaza Murillo. It's the heart of Bolivia's political power. This is the site of Presidential Palace, National Congress of Bolivia, and the Cathedral of La Paz. In 1902, the plaza was renamed in honor of Pedro Murillo, captured and hanged by the Spanish troops in January 1810 for his role in advocating self-determination and Bolivia's independence. The overnight bus typically leaves La Paz at 8 p.m. and arrives 6 a.m. the following morning. But before you freeze your butts off, I warn you, not all buses are heated, so dress warm.
I just got started, and this is going to be like a 10-hour journey. I'm looking forward to a smooth ride, if not so rocky ride.
We got a little bit lucky because the bus came early today, and there's really no need to book a tour in advance because as soon as you get off the bus, there's people howling you.
The average cost of 3 days and 2 night tour is around 600 to 700 Bolivianos, or about $85 during the low season. It can be as high as $100 to $120 during the peak season. Never accept the first offer and always bargain hard. The tour usually leave around 10 to 11 a.m. With few hours to kill, it's time to explore this lovely town.
I guess what it used to be is there's lots of resources in the area that used to ship them back and forth, and once it's depleted, the tracks are abandoned, and now this becomes a tourist town for people who want to go to uni.
By the way, please meet our tour guide, Francis.
Hola.
So pretty much all the tours are the same, and we start off with the train cemetery right here. It's roughly about 5 minutes away from town, and look.
The town serving the past as distribution hub for the trains carrying minerals on their way to the Pacific Ocean ports.
Alright, the best part is you can climb up. And the vantage point up here is just amazing. So, one thing I do have to warn you guys is, you see this one? Look. Be very careful.
The train line was built by the British engineer who arrived near the end of 19th century. The rail construction started in 1888 and ended 4 years later. It was constantly sabotaged by the local indigenous people who saw it as an intrusion into their lives. The final nail in the coffin came in 1940s when the mining industry collapsed, partially due to the mineral depletion. Many trains were abandoned right at the present spot of the train cemetery.
So our second stop here is actually a little souvenir village, and most of the stuff here are actually made by locals. So just remember, there's always room for bargaining.
This is a salt processing cooperative village called Cochabamba, where you can get a glimpse of salt mining, where it's extracted, refined, packaged, and later distributed, with some explanation how the locals built houses from bricks of salt.
Alright, so it's confirmed. These are handmade and they made locally, so I support you to buy something and support the local economy. For those of you who not only want to visit the salt flat, but also want to taste it, not a problem. They are like few Bolivios, and you can take it home and share the taste of salt flat for everyone.
Our next stop is definitely my favorite, the famous Salt Flat al Uyuni.
So, boys and girls, welcome to the beautiful, oh my god, I love this place. The Uyuni the Salt Flat. I love this place. Do you know how many times I want to come back here? Look how beautiful this is. Oh my god, I want to cry. Alright, so, I want to do something fun. Time lapse.
In Spanish, it's called Salar de Uyuni and is the world's largest surface of salt covering 11,000 square kilometers with elevation of 12,000 feet above the sea level. It was formed as a result of transformation between several prehistoric lakes between 30,000 to 42,000 years ago. If you want to walk on water like Jesus, the best time to visit is summer, between December to February, during the raining seasons. The rainwater will transform the salt flat into a large shallow lake, creating the world's largest natural mirror to reflect the spectacular landscape. Next, we headed off for lunch, and yes, it's included in our tour.
So this is the dry part of the salt flat. There's a chalet in the back right there, and it's where all the tour guides bring their food and prepare there and serve it to their guests. So this is actually really crazy because 3 years ago when I was here, this exactly Canadian flag was actually here as well and I was holding it. It's crazy and never fade away. Good to see it and good to be back here.
This is a multinational chalet. Bring our country flag. While Francis prepared our meal, I took another time lapse to show off, and I'm getting really good at this.
You want to see what I'm eating right now? Thank goodness I didn't finish up, so it's pretty decent. The food's made by a guy, serving a nice chalet here.
Our chalet is actually a hotel made completely from bricks of salt, including some of the furniture, first inhabited by salt miners, but now it has been reconditioned as a tourist attraction and a cafeteria. If you don't see a tour guide during the meals, it's not an accident, and here's why.
And the reason you don't see the tour guide is because he's eating our leftovers. Not cool. All of us should encourage our tour guides to eat with us and be part of our group. And they don't get paid much, so another great things we can do is helping do cleanup.
Next, we drove off and got silly, very silly.
As you can see, this is a part of the salt flat. You can do some crazy stuff like my friend here right now. He's my guy's in high demand right now. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself. Guys, this is a beautiful world for you to discover. And you don't even know what you might bump into, like dragons, that green man. I know the world's so beautiful and small.
It is the perfect place to create optical illusions, both popular with travelers and professional photographers who are eager to show their creativity and silly photography skills. That's enough of silliness, but here's an important advice.
It's so hot here. Make sure you drink some water. Drink some water. More.
The salt flat of Uyuni is covered by few meters of salt crust, which has an extraordinary flatness with an average elevation variation within 1 meter over the entire area, making it an ideal object for calibrating autonomous of Earth observation satellite. The crust also covers a pool of brine, which is exceptionally rich in lithium. It contains 50 to 70% of world-known lithium reserve, as well as large amount of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Our next stop is Asca Ingawazi. The entrance fee is 15 Bolivianos or $2, but as you can see, it's worth every penny. The fish island contains many rock formations made from petrified corals, and if you are manly enough to hike up, you'll be rewarded with a breathtaking 360 view of Salt Flat. So spectacular.
Alright, so as you can see, and here, it's really windy right here. So before you come up, wear something really warm, not something like this. I'm freezing cold right now. So please, take my advice.
It's the top of the remain of an ancient volcano, which was submerged when the area was a part of a giant prehistoric lake. Not only you can see and touch giant cacti, bad idea. Don't touch it.
Once you get up here, this is where you are. Panoramic view of the salt flats. I'm the king of the world! Can you hear me?
After all that craziness, it's time to calm down for some magnificent sunset. And yes, it is truly magnificent. The sky get dark early, and by 5 p.m. it was complete darkness.
We have stopped by our resting place for the night. So there it is. It's a Salt Flat Hotel. It might not be luxurious, but it will do for the night.
but be prepared to wear your clothing for.
This is a good time to wash my salty shoes and socks, literally. As usual, our tour guide usually do all the work, including preparing all the meals in the rented South Flat hostel. So for dinner tonight, we got hot soup, baked chicken, and potatoes.
So, good morning, buenos dias, and today we're waking up early because we want to go early and not see that main tour. So, this is our breakfast. Well, nice and simple.
The drive to our next attraction takes about a few hours, but I don't mind. You'll pass by some of the most beautiful landscape on earth. We did manage to get off our car for a few minutes to stretch our legs along the train track leading into Chile.
So we started off today morning by driving here to the train tracks. This is actually still at the train track that go from Uyuni all the way to Chile. It's all surrounded by just magnificent sceneries.
We finally reach our next stop at the world's driest desert, the Atacama Desert.
This is what the second stop of our day is, volcanic lake, at least a view of it, and behind that is actually Chile, so this is pretty much really close up frontier, and we are surrounded by ancient volcanic rocks, and it's actually really nice to go for a hike, but please wear some proper hiking shoes.
The alga started developing over 1 million years ago and mostly from Pleistocene age and still semi-active today. This is where you can brag and fool your friends that you've been to Mars, as the alien landscape are formed with erupted rocks giving its oxide color.
So our next stop is Quiaba Lagoon. This is a frozen lake and you can see flamingos there. And it's really nice in the sense that you can actually walk on it, but you have to be very, very careful.
The Laguna Hedionda is one of the 9 small saline lakes in Andean Altiplano with an area of 3 square kilometers. It's extremely remote, making human habitation impossible, except for flamingos, llamas, and alpaca are seen glazing. This is where we have our lunch nearby, once again freshly prepared by Francis.
That's no problem, no problem.
We briefly drop by the lagoon nearby and make sure no leftover food go wasted. Soon we arrive close to the entrance of the national park, and once again we explore the alien Martian landscape.
So here we are, Siete colores means 7 colors, and that's a mountain that has 7 colors. Right behind it is Chile. So if you want to escape to Chile, that's a great way. Here's a footpath for you. What I'm really curious about is these cuts, like really precise. I don't know if it's man-made or natural. I'm gonna ask my guy. It's really strange. It's really precise.
Further in, we reach the famous Laguna Colorada, or Color Lagoon, a shallow salt lake. The lake contains Brock's Island, whose white color contrasts with the reddish color of its waters, which is caused by the red sedimentation and the pigmentation of its algae.
So I'm here in the Laguna Colorada, and in Spanish, colorada means color, and as you can see, the different shades of pink. And if you get closer, you're actually going to see flamingos, and lots of them in case you missed it earlier. It's really nice. One thing I do have to tell everyone is please wear something warm and like a windbreaker, because as you can hear, the wind is really, really loud.
Soon after, it's time to pay our dues. The entrance ticket is not including most tours and costs 150 Bolivianos, or approximately $22, but the stamp on your passport, free. Right after the gate, we arrive at one of the park's major attractions, the funeral, and this is why let loose. And also, this is why I practice my witch magic by warming up some water for the hot tea.
Oh, as much as you want to jump in and have a nice warm bath here, no. Safety comes first. Trust me, it's very hot. You might go in alive, but you're coming out in a body bag or hostel.
Most likely, you need a shower to get the smell sulfur from the fumaroles and geysers. However, don't expect a shower in every hostel, but don't worry, there's always alternatives.
It's getting dark and it's freezing. I really mean it's freezing. So I'm going to man up. Joining you guys soon. Joining you guys. Oh, it's cold. It's cold. It's freaking cold. I swear. Now this is so nice. What was that guy saying? No, he's asking. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm so cold.
But don't worry, I survived the freezing experience with a hot bowl of soup for dinner. By the way, don't expect there's an outlet in every room.
So as you can see, it's only 8 o'clock. I'm already heading to bed with my jacket on because it's so cold here. There's nothing to do, so we might as well end up going to bed. With that being said, I want to wish you all a good night and join me tomorrow for another great adventure.
And reminder, light goes off at 9 o'clock sharp. I didn't come to Bolivia to sleep, so I woke up early.
This is the last shot before going back to you. Finally undressed. Time to be man up and get in here.
So in some countries, to be honest, they don't even have electricity just right now. Like right now, I'm eating breakfast without any lightings, without any electricity. So for those of you, before you complain about not having the latest iPhones or all those gadgets or tablets, think about what people, how they live right here without it. What's your video?
We began our last day with a trip to Delhi Desert. I can't tell you anything about it as I can't find anything on the internet. But I can tell you it's freaking cold. This is a short distance away.
So this is Laguna Verde, means green lagoon. But as you can see, this is winter time, so it's mostly frozen over. You can't really see the green. But when you come during the high season, it looks really nice.
It used to look like this only 3 years ago. Another factor is climate change. Most of the lake has evaporated, and as a result of the chemical composition that made the green has changed. People in this region can actually see and feel the impact of global warming firsthand. For an extra fee, most tour operators allow you to be dropped out at Chile's St. Petro's de Atacama border crossings.
So basically, for those who want to head to Chile, this is a frontier, and right over there is a Chilean border. So for those of you who want to walk across, you can do that. There's also a colectivo that passed by here, but the hours are really different depending on the season. So with that being said, let me just walk over to... Welcome to Chile! So officially, I'm in Chile. Actually, right here.
However, be warned, these buses are unpredictable during the low seasons. After dropping off our friends and they pass the immigrations, we are on our way back. And boy, it's insane how the weather changes. But within 30 minutes, the snow is no more. We arrive at one of the last attractions, the Valley of the Llamas.
One of our final stops is here at Land of the Llamas. And as you can see, it's a really nice lake lagoon. And last time I was able to go to the other side, but maybe this time there's time constraints, so we're going to just visit this nice viewpoint. Not bad though, not bad.
Then we have our final meal before heading back.
So this is the last stop of our tour. It's a nice small town of St. Cristobal. Here you can grab some snacks, drinks, or go to the bathroom because there's no stops after this.
Although I encourage everyone to bargain with the tour operators for the best price, but make sure to tip the tour guide well at the end of the trip. They are not employees of the tour agencies. Rather, the agencies take a big commission and pass the rest to the tour guides, who are responsible for all the expense, do all the work, and yes, they work almost 18 hours a day. So, let's be generous.
Alright, so this is a last minute change. So I'm supposed to go to Sucre tonight, arriving tomorrow morning. But I heard some pretty cool things about a town called Potosi, especially a mining tour where you get to go down to the mines. It's here in Uyuni, you don't need to buy your tickets in advance to go anywhere because there's so many competitions. People just going to Pelosi. You can just hear it all around me. Just go into any ticket office, pick the best price for the best time suitable for you. Seriously, that's how easy it is. With that being said, I think this is my boss.
Potosi was founded in 1546 after discovering a rich silver deposit in the hills. Soon, it became one of the wealthiest and largest cities in Americas. The wealthy history of Potosi is still reflected in the narrow streets, colonial mansions, and many churches, which makes the city a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Taking a tour at one of the cooperative mines is still a good way to get a sense of the social price paid for the mineral wealth of the few. They are both morning and afternoon tours and cost around 60 to 80 Bolivianos, depending how hard you bargain.
So our tour starts right here. We're waiting for the bus, and the tour guide explained to us the first place we're going to go to is a miners market where we can pick up some gift from the miners. The most important thing is the coca leaf. What the coca leaf is actually how they chew it is they actually don't chew the stem because that's really bad for the teeth. So what they do is they chew it like that, and it keeps them awake. It also suppresses hunger, so they can work for a longer period of time. This is also you can pick up dynamite. You can also pick up some fertilizer. These are called ammonium nitrate. So what they do is it makes the explosion much bigger. They will cut these into multiple segments so they can use it a few times. The most important is these detonators. With that being said, I think we should go and pick up some nice gift for our miners. Over here is a bag of coca leaf. It's 5 Bolivianos. The drinks are about 7. So together, one of these is about 12. One of the things the guy recommends is we get one of those masks because a lot of places are very dusty and can be very hard to breathe. I think mine's 8. Okay. Also very important, it can be dark. So we're going to a viewpoint to get a nice panoramic view of the city. Yeah, and we should be there pretty soon.
The mines of Cerro Rico is the richest mine of all the world's history and may have produced over 60,000 tons of silver. The miners are often below ground for weeks at a time. In 1800s, the silver mine were depleted and tin became the major ore mined. All of this lead to a slow economic decline.
So this is called fool's gold. It has lead, tin, and silver. The most expensive element here is silver. Some of the path here is really narrow and you always have to watch your head. This is amazing how so many people are able to work in these conditions.
It's a shocking experience as method of working hasn't changed much since the colonial times. Still, many people don't have another choice and around 10,000 people still works here today.
10 years.
6 o'clock p.m. and then go home.
Wow, that's a long work. Wow,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I hope all the best to you.
Even in cooperative, the miners actually have to buy their own masks and they cost 300 bolivios, which is a lot of money, and their boots, everything.
The dust in the air contains silicon that leads to silicosis among miners, and as a result, most of them die in their 40s. Water dropping from the walls and ceilings said to contain arsenic and cyanide. There's also a large quantity of asbestos fibers in the rock walls. Another constant danger looming is the collapse of the mine as explosives are used on a daily basis. In fact, I felt it no less than 3 times while there. I'm hearing the explosion right now actually. It's dynamite, right?
Yeah, dynamite.
One very interesting aspect of the mine is there's many statues of El Tío, or the uncle, a demonic feature that miners make offering to. They say God may have ruled above ground, but El Tío dominates over underground, including the mines, simultaneously offer protection and destruction. The historic center is November 10 Plaza, the anniversary date of founding on Potosi. The square is surrounded by colonial-era buildings, including its main cathedral, and play host to major civic events throughout the year, from political rallies to great water balloon fight on the weekends of Carnival.
So this is the November 10 Plaza. It's the center of the city, its main square. And the reason you can see the many of the colonial architecture is during that period, this used to be one of the most wealthiest cities on the planet because of the minings.
Given its small size, one day for Potosi is more than sufficient, so it was time for me to move on, and I took a 5 Boliviano taxi ride for the bus terminal. My ride to Sucre will be on a strange bus with a biblical significance.
Going on to the holy bus is the Jesus Vida.
The ride takes about 4 hours and costs another 5 Bolivianos or 75 cents for a taxi from Sucre bus terminal to city center near Plaza 25 de Mayo. This is where I recommend you stay, as it is walking distance to most tourist attractions. My first stop is Plaza 25 de Mayo, or May 25th Plaza, one of the prettiest main square in Bolivia, a place to relax and soak in the beauty and vibrancy, surrounded by two of the city's most important buildings, the Cathedral and Plaza de Libertad, where the Declaration of Independence was signed, which brought Bolivia into existence.
So I'm in Sucre. This is the constitutional capital of Bolivia. The administrative capital is actually in La Paz. Now, this area, which is the city center, is on the UNESCO World Heritage List. So what's so special about this city is it's really nice and calm. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, it's just like really relaxing. So just a few minutes away from the main square is the central market right here. And I love local markets. This is where the locals come and buy and sell. And so let's go and check it out.
This is a buzzing food market where you can pick up the freshest vegetables, fruits, herbs, bread, and household goods at the cheapest price. The market's bottom floor is also home to Sucre's Jugo ladies, who make the most amazing freshly pressed juices and fruit salads for only 7 Bolivianos, or $1. The top floor of Mercado Central is dedicated to traditional Bolivian cuisine, serving out tasty hot meals from 7 a.m. till closing. This is where I try out Sopa de Mani, a local soup made from peanut paste.
Suspect this is pasta, beef.
The bus stop is right outside the Central Market, and the goal is to visit the 7 waterfalls. It's supposed to look like this, and it's free.
I got onto bus number Q, and hopefully I'm right. I'm sitting with all the locals here.
Actually, you can take either bus Q or 12 for 1.5 Bolivianos or 20 cents and get off at the last stop. The ride shouldn't take more than 20 minutes unless...
The jam here is pretty bad. But finally we are able to get moving again. Finally the bus driver for Q bus dropped us here and asked us to continue on there. But I just saw number 12 bus just passed right by us. So if you're going to go to the waterfall, just take the bus number 12 because it's a lot further.
It's pretty wise for you to learn a little bit of Spanish to mingle with the locals and ask for directions once you get there, or else you'll end up like me, being totally lost.
2 more kilometers to go. Google Map gave me the direction, like, you know, this ends middle of nowhere.
Don't always trust your GPS, long story short.
So here goes. There's no waterfall yet, but follow the stream.
I'm definitely going the wrong way because there's no path. I don't think there is any waterfall this time because
Or else there will be a lot more pressure in terms of the waters.
Yes, there is no waterfall because it's not rainy season, and found out the hard way. The only thing I can find is these guys along with their crab.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back by following these footprints.
It's not easy as it sounds. I'm completely lost and can't find a way back, and no help from the ranchers as he ignored me when I call him out.
I totally went the wrong way. So this is when we head back up.
a lot closer.
Today I learned something new.
To never trust your GPS 100% of the time if you're on certain app because they gave me the direction on the other side of the mountain, like whoa, like a super long way when I could have just walked down here directly to a waterfall. It takes about like 15-20 minutes versus like an hour and a half on the other side.
I returned with the bus 12 and headed directly to the Central Market and once again went straight for the food.
Alright, muchas gracias. I have no clue what that is, but I'm gonna eat it. I got this. Okay, this is actually spare rib.
It's actually a local dish called Fritanga. Consists of pork ribs smothered in spicy sauce and served with a steamed corn called mote. A drink is often included for only 12 Bolivianos or $1.75.
So I ate one meal already. I like to try something else. One of the things I love is chickens. I know she's actually cooking some chickens for me, and I think it's going to be work out really well. Oh, my lunch round 2 has just came out. It's a chicken deep fried in eggs.
The dish is called Silpancho, a popular Bolivian food from the city of Cochabamba. It consists of a thin layer of deep fried meat battered with egg yolk, most often served with rice and potatoes. I really came to the right place at the right time. On May 25, 1809, students and nationalists at Sucre declared independence from Spanish Empire, and many even refer the date as the beginning of South American independence.
So right now there's a military celebration for the anniversary of Sucre.
This day has become as important as July the 4th to Americans and July the 1st to Canadians, and celebration began a few days before. One of them includes the traditional ceremony of inspection of the guard.
So as you can see, we conclude our ceremonies for this important celebration here.
To truly understand the history of this country, you have to visit Plaza de Libertad, located on the May 25th Plaza. Today is a well-restored and maintained convent from the colonial era, houses a museum dedicated to Bolivia's independence.
So Casa de la Libra is actually the most significant building here in Sucre. This is where in 1825, the signing of Declaration for Bolivia will become a nation.
The museum includes a large collection of paintings and objects related to Bolivian history, especially to the independence movement and the struggles of breaking away from the Spanish domination. The admission is only 15 Bolivianos or $2. After a day in Sucre, it's time to continue on to our next city. I took a taxi to a bus terminal which cost 5 Bolivianos or 75 cents. There is a terminal fee costing about 40 cents.
Alright, I learned a lesson tonight, and that is never buy any tickets from someone who's selling it outside the ticket office. Apparently, some people get it for 30, some people get it for 40. I happen to get it for 50. It's not the money here. It makes me really, really upset that they are taking advantage of foreigners. Anyhow, hopefully that's a lesson that you were able to learn.
So remember to always buy tickets directly from the bus company inside the terminal. With that being said, this will be a 10-hour journey. The taxi costs approximately $1.50 to the city center, and that is why I recommend you stay. And it's also the location of my local host, Juggler House Hostel.
Sun has come up and the rain stopped, and the first place you can see is Concordia Christ up the mountain. I want to take the cable car, but it's not working today, so we'll have to get some exercise.
Make sure to wear comfortable shoes for a nice hike, and don't forget about the water. Or else you have to drink it from the pond. Okay, just joking. You don't have to wait all the way until the high up. I really mean it, as you need to take 2,000 steps to reach the top of the St. Petro's Hill.
So this is the final step. Jesus is right behind you. So the groundbreaking for this statue was 1987 and completed in 1994 and modeled after the Jesus statue in Rio de Janeiro, except for this one's actually taller. This is actually the second tallest and the biggest statue in all of South America.
The viewing area inside the arm of the statue are open on Sundays to visitors, but everyone I come across tells me it is nothing special when you are looking through the holes. Rather, you get the best view from the ground, so enjoy.
As you can see, I'm really tired hiking up and I'm not going down. Instead of paying 20 for the taxi, gather a few of the amigos, split the taxi up 7 each, so you can forget about hiking. You can focus on enjoying the views of the valley.
After conquering the height, I'm super hungry. This is a Bolivian spatch cooked chicken. It's barbecue oil, paprika, garlic, lemon zest, salt, and pepper, served with potatoes and rice or noodles. It's one of the most inexpensive local favorites at a cost of only $1.50 for the entire meal. The first Spanish inhabitants arrived in the valley in 1542, and you can see the remnants of the colonial past in its architecture. Cochabamba is known as the City of Emerald Spring, or the Garden City, because of the spring-like temperature all year round and historical parks, lots and lots of parks, with beautiful water fountains. The two most notable is Plaza Con in the Central Commercial District, and the city's main square, the Plaza 14th of September.
Now this is the September 14 Plaza located in the Old Town, and the reason it was named after that date is that is when the Cochabamba declared independence from the Spanish rule.
The political demonstration have been banned from the square, so not to scare the birds away. Our last attraction is also free, a mansion created in 1969 by Bolivian industrialists and philanthropists.
So this is Simon Pelio's Cultural Center. It's the most important cultural center here in Cochabamba. And the reason is it holds the largest variety of cultural activities such as movies, plays, music, and more. Now the story behind this incredible palace is meant to be this mining tycoon's home. But because of his health and high altitude, especially after a heart attack, he was not advised to live in this condition environment. So this was converted into a cultural center.
The goal is to provide training to artists and supporting the cultural works of interest to Bolivia. Today, it plays a key role in promoting all aspects of Bolivian culture, including art scene and literature, exhibition, concerts, plays, literature, festivals, and conferences. After a whole day in this garden city, it's time to return to La Paz.
And we are heading off to a terminal right now to take the bus back to La Paz. It only costs about 1 or 2 bolivios, but because I have my luggage right here, you see, they probably charged me twice, which is fine.
So when you get into the terminal, you will actually see many people shouting out. You don't need to buy tickets from them. There's many companies right here that will actually you can choose from. The prices are very competitive. Just choose a time that's right for you.
And yes, get some extra change for a terminal departure tax and get something to eat before boarding, since this will be a long 9-hour overnight ride. Since there is no guarantee your bus will be heated, be sure to dress warm. I checked into Wild Rover Hostel, conveniently located just few blocks from the San Francisco church. This is where I stay for the remainder of the filming in Bolivia. They are voted the cleanest hostel in all Bolivia. My favorite part is a free shots for any tender matches from the house pub. But if you need a comfortable night of sleep, they got many accommodation options for every budget. But I didn't come to Bolivia to sleep. I woke up early for a $2 taxi ride to a cemetery for my favorite pastime of ghost hunting. Just joking. This is where you can book a collectivo or share taxi to Copacabana. The buses leave when it's full unless someone wants to pay for the empty seats. The rides are typically 5 hours with a ferry crossing and cost about 20 Bolivianos or $3.
Now one thing I didn't expect is how cold it is here in Copacabana, and especially the ride. There's no heat inside the van, so make sure you wear something warm.
Copacabana is a main Bolivian town on the shore of Lake Titicaca with a population of 6,000. Some believe the name is derived from the Amra, meaning view from the lake, while others believe Cochabamba means god of fertility in ancient Andean mythology. The town's most famous structure is a large 16th century shrine, the Basilica of Our Lady of Copacabana. Constructed at the foot of a small steep hill, sacred to both Incas known as the Temple of Sun, it remains as one of the 2 principal sacred places of importance both the indigenous people and Catholic alike. Even though it's still early, the market is already bustling. You'll definitely have no problem finding a local breakfast here, especially when there's an indoor market. But for me, I love outdoors.
No, my throat is really messed up, and especially the bus ride, my stomach is not feeling that well, so I'm gonna have some soup.
By the beach side.
I can't get better than that.
The Lake Titicaca is the largest lake in South America and often called the highest navigable lake in the world. The western part of the lake lies within the Puno region of Peru, and the eastern side is located in Bolivia. Most visitors come here to visit its main attraction, the Sun Island or Salar del Sol. The boat leaves around 8:30 for the full-day tour, covering both the north and the south side of the island, costing around 30 to 40 Bolivianos, depending on your bargaining skills. Given my time constraint, I opt for the half-day tour leaving at 1:30. It costs between 20 to 25 Boliviano, but I'd like to thank my sponsor Bolivia Hop for the complimentary seat on their boat and the entrance tickets.
Alright, so finally we are here. Welcome to the island of the sun, and we are in the southern part of Lake Titicaca.
Based on archaeologists' discoveries, there are evidence suggests that people lived on the island as far back as 3rd millennium BC.
There are about 800 families on this island, and aside from tourism, the main income is actually farming.
According to Incan lore, the story has it that following a great flood, Lake Titicaca was plunged into a long period of darkness. After many days, the beer god Viracocha arose from the depth of Lake Titicaca. Travel to the island would not only command the sun to rise, but also create the world's first two Incas, Maracuca and Mamapucho, equivalent to Adam and Eve of the Andes.
Now apparently there's 80 ruins on this island. Most of it dates back to 1500s during the Inca period. But we only walked by one, so I guess we'll have to continue on and see what other magnificent sights we can discover on this island.
After 45 minutes hike, we finally return to the piers, where we get to see the ancient wall.
Basically this is the end of the tour, and we didn't get to see 80 ruins, but at least we get to see the nice view of Lake Titicaca, and it's a nice hike as well. So let's go upstairs and we'll ride the top this time around.
If you got time to kill, there's lots of other activities after the tour, everything from water paddling to biking. But my favorite is sampling local food.
Yes. It'd be crazy for you to come here not to try out the seafood, because this is a coastal community and they apparently have some of the best and the freshest seafood. Alright, so this is what I had. It's called devil trout. I'm not too sure what exactly is included, but it looks pretty decent. One thing I have to say is there's a lot of bones actually in the trout. Just be a little bit careful.
Copacabana is a popular gateway for travel between Cusco, Peru and La Paz, and there's frequent bus to both cities from here, including Bolivia Hop, which generously provide me with a seat for La Paz. And don't forget to support the local economy on your ferry crossing stop. I recommend you try out the Bolivian street hamburgers, consisting of freshly grounded beef, llamas with chicken patties with seasonings, and stuffed with fried onions.
So I'm heading to a cemetery right now. From there we can catch another bus to the amazing attraction I hope we have today. Cactivos, and it's two Bolivios. Here I'm at the La Paz General Cemetery, and apparently it's a bus that's going to take us where we need to go. I'm going to ask around in my broken Spanish.
The bus we need to find is right across opposite from the behind the flower shops. By the way, we are going to a UNESCO World Heritage Site called Tiwanaku. The bus costs 20 Bolivianos each way, and the journey takes about 90 minutes. This is undoubtedly the most expensive entrance admissions in Bolivia at 100 Bolivianos or $15. The premium for having a UNESCO designation. Is it worth it? I will give you my opinion a little later.
The name Tiwanaku is actually known by its inhabitants. They don't have a written language, so there's very little to go on. But it is believed this area has been occupied as early as 1500 BC.
Tiwanaku is a pre-Columbian archaeological site first recorded in written history by the Spanish conquistador Pedro de Leon in 1549 while searching for the Inca capital.
Now, between 300 BC and 300 AD, it is thought that this is a moral and cosmological center for the Tiwanaku Empire,
and one to which many made pilgrimage. Within many site structures are impressive gateways, and many monumental scales are placed on artificial mounts showing the iconic staff god. As the population grew, the occupational niche developed and people began to specialize in certain skills. There was increasing artisan who work in pottery, jewelry, and textiles. Like the later Incas, the Tiwanaku have few commercial market institutions. Instead, the culture relies on elite redistribution. There's a little museum in Cunha Missions, but the camera is not allowed. So, is it worth it? And here is my final verdict.
I never badmouth any place I visit, but I just have to say there's not much to see inside there. It's actually waste of time.
It was only 3 p.m. by the time we returned to La Paz, and I wasn't going to wait the second half of the day. The cheapest way to get around La Paz is by colectivos or minibuses and buses. It usually costs less than 2 Bolivianos. So, we'll visit the nearby adjacent city of El Alto, the second largest in Bolivia. There is no better way other than using a system of cable car called Mi Teleferico to get there. The network currently consists of 14 stations and considered to be the longest aerial cable car system in the world, and the first urban transit network to use it as primary means of transportation. This is also a line where you can connect to El Alto, a population nearly as big as La Paz. Known for the high altitude, cold climate, frequent protests, bustling street, and heavy traffic, it is not for the faint-hearted. With that being said, the city is a fascinating place for travelers looking to experience the local Bolivian life.
So at the very final station here is where you can get off and see authentic Bolivian market. This is where no tourists go, and it's a very nice off-beaten path attraction.
El Alto's open-air market is just steps away from the cable car station, the biggest in all Bolivia. Stretching over 5 square kilometers, consists mostly of Aymara market selling everything you can think of.
So this market is absolutely amazing. You can absolutely find everything and stretch all the way back there, across, and down over there. So I'm actually hungry, so I found this, empanadas.
The notable items include car parts, sports equipment, illegal copy of DVDs and computer softwares, second-hand clothing, fake iPods, and used medical equipment. Oof. The biggest market days are Thursday and Sunday. But if you need more excitement, how about being locked up on a death row in Bolivia? Just joking, we are going to bike a road where the Inter-American Development Bank called it the world's most dangerous road. Oh yeah! The bus pickup is usually between 6:30 to 7 a.m. at your hotel or meeting place, and followed by a half-an-hour ride to Andes Mountain. The tour price depends on your bargaining skills. It starts at $70 to $120, includes snack, water, lunch, and equipment. Most does not include 50 Bolivianos for the National Park entrance fee.
So we finally arrived at the highest point here. It's called the Cumbre. This is where we're going to start our journey. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our friends at Barracuda for sponsoring this part of the assignment. Let me explain what's happening. You see all these bikes? We're going to be testing out for 5 to 10 minutes in this area. Remember, safety comes first. And then we're going to start our journey.
Remember, safety comes first, and always check operators' online reviews, and most importantly, the brakes and the proper seating height on your bike.
No more fingers.
By the way, given the high altitude, bring some cocaine leaf just in case. Before you go, we need to perform a little traditional ceremony with a Bolivian rum, Coco Roco.
So one of the traditions here before we begin our adventure is what to make offering to the Pachamama, which is the Mother Earth, and she apparently loves alcohol. And right here, so we have to give her a little bit of alcohol. Also put some on our what's called front wheel. Yeah. It works probably. And lastly, okay, a little zip. This is 98%, 96 or 98?
96.
96% alcohol. Oh my god. Okay.
The first part is asphalt with very frigid weather to reach the Unidabi narcotic control, so don't bring any drugs.
We're going to have multiple breaks here. So for example, this is actually the shortest break. So I survived through. Wow, I survived checkpoint number 2, which is amazing.
This is the finish of the first part, the asphalt road. The next stop basically is in the 15-20 minutes from here. This is the interest on the dirt road. that is the place where you continue the ride or you will start the ride again. Will you give me another sandwich?
I hope my insurance covered this. This is. I just hope this is not going to be my last assignment because I like my life a lot.
Yes, always double check your travel insurance and make sure that extreme activities are covered.
Orange sign up there when we said welcome to Death Road.
The name for this road is actually Yungas Rd and cut into the side of the Cordilleran Oriental mountain chain in the 1930s by the Paraguayan prisoners during the Chaco War.
Wish me luck and safe ride, everyone. Let's go. It's so scary. So first rule here, remember, safety comes first. Do not play with your cameras, with your cell phones, any of that crap. If you want to do that, there's lots of points like this where they stop and you can take lots of selfies and stuff like that.
Oh, sugar and water are always available in these frequent stops, so don't bring anything you don't need. The term death row was coined due to the notorious high death rates, and in 2006, one estimate stated that 200 to 300 travelers were killed yearly along the road. This winding road stretches 69 kilometers from La Paz to Cupertino. It used to be the only way connecting Amazonian rainforest to the capital city.
Here's a memorial to an Israeli girl who basically perished in 2001. She rented a bike with a faulty brake, and this is what happens.
This is not the worst.
This is one of the most dangerous areas of the death row. It's really narrow, and especially during the rainy season, strategy here is always stay on the right. Over there is a cross. Unfortunately, there was a bus years and years ago that rolled down the hill with 97 people perished.
It only takes about an hour and a half to reach the end, and congratulations, you can now brag you survived the world's most dangerous road.
So the tour ends right here with a nice pool and also a buffet lunch. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have a six-pack, but after all this hard work, I don't mind showing right off. So let's go, a nice dive.
It wasn't long before the buffet lunch is served, and yes, it's including the tour, but the drinks are not. Also, a large portion of our guys' income comes from the tips, so please be generous. If you're asking whether to return by minibus or bus, always go with the minibus as they are a lot faster. Despite my condition got worse overnight, I still thought I can survive anything. So next morning I met up with the folks at altitude 6000 mountaineering and a couple to get ready to climb Huayna Potosi. The all-inclusive tour price are 900 Bolivianos to 1200. So once again, bargain hard. The mountain is about 30 kilometers north of La Paz and reaches 6,088 meters above the sea level. The weather was brutal when we arrived at the Zonal Pass base camp. That did not help my poor throat, but at least the freshly made soup and the hot meal is on its way.
I'm from Canada, please.
Afterwards, we got our equipment fitted and got a lesson in climbing 101.
I ate too much. Steps is 1, 2, 3.
So I'm actually here at the base camp and we're ready to hike up after breakfast. Oh man, it's cold. But the weather cleared out, look. So that's a good thing. Wish me luck.
The weather might have cleared up, but not my throat. It actually got worse, really worse. Always watch out for your steps as there's ice everywhere. Depending on your fitness level and weather conditions, the hike along the clearly defined trail to the Campo Argentino hike camp could take anywhere between 1 to 3 hours.
Sometimes we have some traffic jams. Not with cars, but those guys right here.
Oh, many operators advertise Huayna Potosi as the easiest 6,000 meter hike, but the hike isn't for the complete novices.
Oh my god. This is hard, but it's halfway. So now we are swapping over the boots. My shoes for boots.
I didn't film during the last leg of my climb as there's many steep slopes that requires my full attention. However, I can tell it took me twice the amount of time and I was coughing all the way up.
Guys, finally made it to the high camp and I just can't believe this is the toughest assignment ever. But I'm very proud to be up here. Tomorrow I'm going to push up there, right there. Summit. I believe I can do it, you can do it. Alright, so lunchtime, let's go. All of us are so deserving of this lunch.
I think the expression on my face said it all.
Oh my god.
I'm inside the cabinet 5,200 meters up, and it's truly heartbreaking to let everyone know that I will not able to make it up to the summit today. I have been struggling with a terrible cold which is not getting better.
Typically, the summit climb begins shortly after breakfast between midnight and 3 a.m., taking around 3 to 6 hours depending on your fitness level. Most guys will attempt to begin the hike as early as possible since after 8 a.m. there's significant risk of avalanche. But for me, it's back to bed to recover, but not for long.
I'm very determined to get the sunrise on the high camp. So here goes, beautiful sunrise.
I was awakened by the sound of triumphant victories of my fellow mountaineers, and soon I was tied up to the guide and make my way down for the return to La Paz.
The contamination, the mines.
Along the way, it was sad to see such a spectacular landscape, but also devastation from the loose mining regulations. Perhaps a way of life accepted by the poor.
This is Sopocachi. Sopocachi is a traditional neighborhood that is the up-and-coming neighborhood for tourism.
I returned to La Paz and really need a quiet place for my body to recover. Fortunately, Fabio and Eliana, the owner of Greenhouse Hostel, offered me accommodations and also natural herbal remedies for my condition. It ranked as one of the best chef hostels in South America and offered both dorms and private rooms, walking distance to public bus and cable car stations with a great view of the city. Next day was also my last day. With my condition slightly improved, I decided to follow Neil Armstrong's footstep of taking a step on the moon. Seriously.
So I'm on a bus right now heading to Malasa, and it's the same direction as the Moon Valley.
The ride costs 2 to 3 Bolivianos and takes around half an hour, unless...
One of my number one enemies when filming all episodes of Destination is traffic jams.
Tell the driver the Spanish name, Valle de la Luna, and he'll drop you out right at the entrance of the NASA's Bolivia headquarters. Just joking.
So the bus driver just dropped us off about 10 meters away from the main entrance. And all you need to do is walk and buy your tickets here.
Once you get in, there's 2 circular walking tracks to choose, each spanning different viewpoints. The longer track takes around 45 minutes and ends at the spectacular Devil's Point. The other track is much shorter, taking just 15 minutes to complete. However, both paths can be narrow and tricky to navigate, so make sure to wear a comfortable shoes with a good grip.
Now, as you can see, the Valley of the Moon is actually not a valley at all. It's actually a maze of sandstone, canyons, and spirals. Now, the formation is caused by the perpetual erosion from the rain and the strong wind.
The area was originally known as the Valley of the Spirits.
Now, according to rumor, how this place got its name is actually Neil Armstrong came here and mentioned that it resembled the surface of the moon. Hence, it was nicknamed the Valley of the Moon.
I returned to the city center to see the last attraction in Bolivia, the lookout point to get a panoramic view of this vibrant city. There are many buses from the opposite side of the San Francisco church that will directly drop you off at the entrance.
So this is a Killi Killi lookout point, and it's actually located in the neighborhood of Villa Pablon. But the name is after a small bird of prey that flourished in this area. Now, as you can see, you can get a 360 view of the city, which is really nice.
From the lookout point, the visitors can see La Paz's most prominent buildings or the Illimani Mountain, providing a striking backdrop to the city. Killi Killi was once used by the indigenous people of Bolivia to keep a tab on the Spanish settlement of La Paz. When the indigenous people Tupac Katari staged an uprising against the Spanish and laid a siege to La Paz, he used Killi Killi as his headquarters and base of the operation. More recently, the hill was nearly made into a garbage dump. A mirador was erected in 2007 to save this amazing viewpoint from a very sad fate. I dropped by the Witches Market one last time and tried to strike out some bargains for some handmade souvenirs to bring home. Once again, the rule is never accept the first offer and always bargain, and bargain hard. Shortly after, it was time to return to Wild Rover Hostel to pack up for the airport. The most inexpensive way to get to the airport is by taking any minibus towards Sopocachi and get off at Plaza Isabel de Codica. This ride only costs 2 Bolivianos. From the Plaza Isabel, you have to line up for the bus sign Aeropuerto, so make sure to leave early, especially when the traffic jams are unpredictable in La Paz.
So the driver was nice enough to let me in, so hopefully it's gonna be a nice, fast ride.
On the bright side, this is a frequent bus operating every 15 minutes from 6 in the morning to 9 p.m. and costs only 75 cents.
So for only 5 Bolivianos, the airport bus takes you all the way from the Plaza Isabel to the airport right in front of the terminal here. And it actually takes the same amount of time as the taxi.
Contrary to popular belief, you do not need to pay the $25 departure tag at the airport as it is included in your flight tickets. And this is how I ended my incredible journey in the magnificent country of Bolivia. There are few countries I have visited twice, but Bolivia is an exception as there's so many reasons that it holds a special place in my heart. Most importantly, its proud people remains resilient from their fight for freedom and independence to the struggle of living under poverty. Yet they are able to bear their brave smile to welcome all of us. Its culture maintains a tradition of indigenous people of Quechua and Aymara while highlighting the best of Spanish influences. The spectacular dreamlike salt-flat landscape and nature combined with the tradition of respecting the Pachamama remind all of us to protect our precious one and only home, the Mother Earth. Bolivia is truly a magnificent country, and there's no doubt its beauty and spirit will forever captivate your heart, your mind, and your soul.